Hello Oilers fans, Austin here, and in today's video I am finally discussing something that many of you have been asking me to, and that is the Olympics in Italy in 2026 and which Oilers are likely going to be not only on Team Canada, but which Oilers will likely be representing their countries in some fashion at the upcoming Olympic Games. This is something that I'm very much looking forward to, the Olympics that is, so if you like today's video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to the channel as we continue to have daily Oilers content here while we wait for official training camp to open up. The rookies, they're going to be playing next weekend, less than a week from now, September, what was it, 12th or something? Yeah, for Friday, September 12th, the Oilers are going to be playing the Calgary Flames in Edmonton at Rogers Place for the rookie showcase, and then September 14th as well, which is next Sunday. So very much looking forward to that. Cannot wait. But in the meantime, let's discuss the Olympics and which Oilers will likely be on Team Canada. And let's actually project Team Canada as a whole. I have listed a ton of players that will likely play for Team Canada here. They are in the yellow, and then the players in the white are likely to represent their countries in some fashion from the Edmonton Oilers. You'll notice a couple names there that you might not be sure of, and we will get to that, I promise. First things first, though, let's project Team Canada and which Oilers could be on Team Canada. So this projection is not based on anything specific. This is not a scientific projection. This is taking a lot of the information that we had from the Four Nations and then also trying to put different players in different spots as well. This lineup is not an official lineup. This is not exactly how I would make the lineups. It was just me putting all the names down in a depth chart style format, and this is just what popped out. So if you don't agree with it, obviously don't worry about it. Let me know what your lines would be, though. I do want to hear your opinion on that. I do want to know what your thoughts are and what the lines should be. But you have Mark Stone, obviously, as long as he's healthy, but you never know with Vegas and Mark Stone. Connor McDavid, of course, is already part of Team Canada. And then I put Zach Hyman in there as well, next to McDavid. Now, why would I do that? He didn't play in the Four Nations. Well, obviously, Zach Hyman, he dealt with some injuries. He had a much worse year last year. He regressed heavily from those career highs from 2 years ago. If Zach Hyman can get out of the gate strong here for Edmonton after October, November, if he's sitting at about 15 goals or so, and it does look like he's going to score about 40 again, maybe 35, I would not be surprised if Team Canada brought Zach Hyman along to play with Connor McDavid. Of course, this does remind me of Chris Kunitz getting to play on Team Canada next to, of course, Sidney Crosby. Now, Chris Kunitz was not a world beater. He was not an elite player, but him and Sidney Crosby worked very well together. It's the same thing with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. Do not be surprised if Zach Hyman comes along with Team Canada. He was at the Team Canada orientation that they just did. So for Zach Hyman, if he gets off to a good start this season, I can definitely see him playing on Team Canada and being paired next to Connor McDavid just for, chemistry purposes, but we will have to see. Zach Hyman is by no means a lock on this roster. Next up, we have Sidney Crosby, Nathan MacKinnon, Sam Reinhart. I don't think I need to explain why those three are going to be on Team Canada. They are three of some of the best players Team Canada has to offer. Sidney Crosby, yes, he's in the twilight of his career, but he's still very, very good. Nathan MacKinnon, he is in the prime of his career, one of the best players in the entire NHL, if not the best. There's always an argument to be made. I'm not going to make that argument today, though. Not over our boy Connor McDavid, of course. Sam Reinhart, of course, with the Florida Panthers, he's had a couple terrific seasons in a row, and he's looking to keep building on that and represent Canada in the Olympics after helping win them a championship at the Four Nations. Then I have Brandon Hagel, Anthony Cirelli, Mitch Marner. Hagel and Cirelli were on the Four Nations team. Mitch Marner, of course, same with the Four Nations team. As long as Mitch Marner is healthy, as long as these players are healthy and still doing what they do, I think Anthony Cirelli, you need that defensive prowess. You need that penalty kill specialist, someone that can go out there and grind some minutes for you, especially against teams like Team USA in the Olympics. It is a short-ish tournament, but guys like Anthony Cirelli, I think, are very valuable. Same with Brandon Hagel. And then we have Macklin Celebrini, Sam Bennett, and Seth Jarvis. Celebrini, of course, I am very high on. I love Celebrini. I'm very curious to see what he does in his sophomore season. Sam Bennett, I don't know if he'll actually make the team, but don't be surprised if he does. Just his play style, he brings that edge, that physicality, and he can put the puck in the net. We all know and remember his game-tying goal against Team USA in the Four Nations in that championship game. Seth Jarvis, he brings a ton of offense, a ton of speed, a ton of skill. Of course, he also was on the Four Nations, so keep an eye out for him. Now, some of the players that might be on the outside looking in, you might be surprised to see Brad Marchand here, but I think Marchand's age and can he play like he did in the Stanley Cup playoffs this past offseason. Of course, he will say yes, he can. And if he can, obviously, he will be brought onto this team as well. Brad Marchand still has a lot of gas left in the tank. And though he is getting older and towards the end of his career, sort of the end of his career. He signed a long-term contract with Florida, but I think we all know he's not going to make it to age 43 or whenever that contract's supposed to end. Brad Marchand, great player. Don't be surprised to see him on Team Canada. I have Nick Suzuki from the Montreal Canadiens in here. Braden Point, you could obviously put into the top 12 very, very easily. Braden Point, very good player. And then I have Robert Thomas as well, rounding out that forward group from the St. Louis Blues. Let me know if I missed any forwards that you think should be on Team Canada. Maybe I missed someone from your favorite team. Maybe there's a player that was so obvious that I should have put into this list that I just forgot about, so please make sure to let me know. On defense, Devin Taves, Cale Makar, that is the top pair. It will be the top pair, and I cannot imagine that is going to change unless there are some injury situation piling up for Team Canada. Hopefully that does not happen. Let's knock on wood, folks. Thomas Harley and Mackenzie Weegar, Josh Morrissey, and Evan Bouchard. Now, Evan Bouchard was not on that Four Nations team, and a lot of fans might look at that and be like, well, Evan Bouchard doesn't play defense, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I'm not having that discussion today. I'm just going to go over who I think is going to make the team. I think Evan Bouchard should be in that top 6 for Team Canada. And you might be wondering, where the heck's Drew Doughty? Why is Drew Doughty not here? Listen, Drew Doughty did play pretty good at the Four Nations for Team Canada, but his play style, his age, the wear and tear on his body, I'm not expecting a Drew Doughty to make this team. And if he does, he's likely going to be on the outside looking in. He will likely be an extra in case there are injuries. Evan Bouchard should be in this top 6, though, just with his puck moving, his offensive instincts, and his ability to get the puck out of trouble. Yes, we all understand he has brain farts in the defensive zone. That's going to happen when a player is on the ice for 30 minutes a night like Bouchard is with the Edmonton Oilers. Great player. He should be on Team Canada here. Next up, you have Travis Sanheim, Colton Parayko, and then Shea Theodore and Aaron Ekblad. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that Ekblad and Theodore and them are on the outside looking in. These are just the 10 defensemen that I think have the best chance of making and cracking Team Canada's roster. Of course, Taves and Makar, they are obviously a lock. You could argue Thomas Harley also a lock. But after that, it's up to the boys for Team Canada on their respective teams to play the best that they can and make this team. I like that there's going to be competition all season long because you know these players, after looking at the Four Nations, certain guys like Bouchard who witnessed Team Canada win the Four Nations without him, you know players like that, they are hungry. They want to represent their countries. They are passionate about that. They are very patriotic about this stuff. And us Canadians, I mean, we're some of the most patriotic people on the planet. And if the Olympics are even half as entertaining and intense as the Four Nations was, we're going to be in for a treat. I like the look of the defensive group for Team Canada. Now, for the goaltenders, this is where Team Canada's biggest weakness is going to probably get exposed heavily, unless a guy like Jordan Binnington goes on an absolute tear again. Again, Logan Thompson coming off a great season with Washington. Darcy Kemper, good regular season, got exposed a little bit in the playoffs against the Edmonton Oilers. And then some of you might be looking, being like, where's Stuart Skinner? He wants to be on Team Canada. Listen, Stuart Skinner is on the way outside looking in. If Stuart Skinner is on Team Canada, either something very bad has happened to another goaltender, or Stuart Skinner has somehow found his ability to play in his net again like he did in his rookie season. So hopefully, as an Oilers fan, I would love it. I want Stuart Skinner to prove me wrong. I want him to be on Team Canada and go out there and represent us with the maple leaf on his crest and win a gold medal for his country. I think that would be amazing. And it would go a long way in his confidence as well. But for now, Stuart Skinner, way outside, way outside looking in. Prove me wrong, though. I want to be proven wrong. Now, those are the players that I think that will be representing Team Canada or have the best chance of representing Team Canada. Of course, I left a lot of really good players off this list, so please let me know who you think should be in, who should be out, who is clearly a favorite that I may have missed. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. And then, of course, this brings us to which Oilers will be representing their countries. Now, obviously, Leon Draisaitl, he is going to be representing Team Germany. He is going to be their star. He is the best German player on the planet and one of the best NHL players on the planet. Leon Draisaitl will represent Germany 100% unless there's an injury. Knock on wood, please. Hopefully that does not happen. Matthias Ekholm will be representing Team Sweden, and like I said, unless something crazy happens, Matthias Ekholm will represent Team Sweden. He will likely be on their top defensive pair. Then you have Josh Szymanski, who's coming into training camp for Edmonton on the outside looking in terms of making their NHL lineup, but he will likely represent Team Germany. Team Germany is pretty light on NHL caliber players, and the fact that Szymanski is going to be in Oilers training camp and could push for a roster spot, I don't have a huge, I don't have like a big like expectation for Szymanski. I'd love it if he made the team. I think that would be great. That means that the internal competition is working and that they are finding these players from outside the organization to bring in and try and make the team out of camp. Szymanski will represent Germany. And then, of course, you have David Tomasek, who will represent Team Czechia as well. So for Tomasek, again, he's another player where we're not sure what he's going to bring to training camp for the Oilers. We don't know if he's going to make the team. We don't know what his impact will be if he's on the team, but he should be representing Team Czechia regardless of where he finishes, whether he's with Edmonton or Bakersfield. And then you have Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for your Edmonton Oilers. Nugent-Hopkins was invited to the Team Canada orientation camp, although I do have Nugent-Hopkins on the outside looking in. I do think Hyman has a much better opportunity of making the team. And if you look at Nugent-Hopkins compared to some of the other forwards on this list, especially down that depth chart, Brad Marchand, Nick Suzuki, Robert Thomas, Macklin Celebrini, Sam Bennett, does Nugent-Hopkins get above those players? Can he get above those players, especially if he's playing in kind of a third line role in Edmonton this season? Well, I'm not sure, but he's going to be on the outside looking in. You never know, though. He may represent Canada. And then just for fun, I put Kasperi Kapanen for Finland. Of course, could have put Matthias Janmark there as well. Who knows what Finland will look like? They have a ton of talent across the NHL. Maybe Kasperi Kapanen, if he plays like he did in the playoffs, maybe they're going to want him on their team as well. That is it for me. That is my Team Canada projection. Those are the Oilers that I'm projecting to make the Olympics. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Of course, we are still eagerly awaiting Connor McDavid's contract extension announcement, which should be any day now. It's going to happen, I promise. The Austin Hockey Guarantee, this guarantee is never wrong. The Austin Hockey Guarantee, Connor McDavid is going to sign that extension. We just have to wait and see. If you smash that like button, I think that increases the odds. I read somewhere in the YouTube algorithm that if you hit the like button on today's video, McDavid will resign. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you really enjoyed today's video, and thank you all so much for your continued support. It means the absolute world. Tell some that you love them, and as always, fight like a kid, fight like Ben. Let's go Oilers. Once again, thank you, channel members, whether you're VIP or locker room. We have Christy, Nick, Justin, Canadian Ginger, Charles, Epiphany, Maddie Brinks, I'm Just Him, Hannah, Lola, Fleecy U, Danny, Hybrid Hunter, Hab3436, Crux Deluxe, Wayne, Jacob, Hypnotized Mind, and Bubsy. If you ever want to become a member, click the join button next to my name on a web browser. Pick your tier, whether you want to be locker room or VIP, and it's as easy as that, folks. Thank you all so much. We'll see you soon. Take care.